Joining me now is Washington Examiner Deputy Editor of Restoring America, Kaylee McGhee White. Good to see you, Kaylee. Thank you for being here. I mean, you know, it's hard to see how he didn't directly contradict what he pledged during his inauguration, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's definitely a betrayal of the promise that he made, which I don't think anyone really expected him to keep in the first place. And a lot of people are comparing this to Hillary Clinton's basket of deplorables moment when she was on the campaign trail. And I think that's accurate, but I do think that this actually from Biden was worse, because what Hillary Clinton was conveying with her comment was that she and the rest of the Democratic establishment look down on the Trump voting Americans. They think that they're not even worth bothering with. What Biden is conveying here is that he actually thinks of them as political enemies. You know, to compare Trump voters to semi-fascists is a suggestion that they support totalitarianism and you know, the upending of everything that America stands for. So it's really insulting.
And there were tens of millions of more Americans who voted for Donald Trump in 2020 than there were in 2016. I mean, he got 74 million votes. I think if you were to ask basically any of those voters what MAGA meant, it meant things that are not extreme in any way, shape, or form. I mean, lowering tax rates, lowering the role of government in our lives, in our regulatory lives, toughening our policies at the border. That's what Make America Great Again MAGA means, right?
Absolutely. These are voters who, especially in 2016, were looking for something different than what they were being offered from the governing establishment. They wanted someone who was going to fight for their values at home, whether that was, you know, basic wage rights, a secure border, the right to live how they believe is right for them. And these are basic values that, honestly, I would say more than half the country shares. A lot of people just want to be left alone. They want to go about doing their own business. And that's what MAGA meant to them. You know, so to lump them all in this extremist basket is really insulting and it's offensive.
And by the way, big business, corporations have done very well under Joe Biden. It's the small businesses that are really getting screwed. They're the ones, and they will get even more screwed. We know that they're the ones that are going to be the target of the auditors because they can't afford the fancy lawyers and accountants and everything. So and they're the ones who are going to get hit, those S corporations. The smaller S corporations are going to get hit by the new rules and taxes and regulations. So if you're thinking about the economic equivalent of fascism, which is corporativism, there's been more of that going on in the past year and a half than there was in the previous 4.
Right. And now small businesses are also being told that they're chumps for taking PPP loan money during the COVID pandemic. And they're saying, well, how dare you not support our student loan debt forgiveness plan since you kept your employees paid throughout the shutdown? Everything that is coming from this White House is so belittling to average voters who are just looking to pay their bills. They want to live unencumbered by government regulation. And the Biden administration is sticking that in their faces and telling them that they're not good enough because they don't support spending trillions upon trillions of dollars that Biden wants to spend on any one of his progressive policies.
But you know what's motivating them is the fact that it's some of the rhetoric seems to be working. I mean, look at the polls. The Real Clear Politics has a trending poll of Republicans versus Democrats, and as you can see, the red line, the Republicans versus the blue line, it was very spread apart until recently, when this rhetoric has gotten very hard from the Democrats. They're now about equal, and it just shows that the Republicans have some work to do.
They do have some work to do. Biden does seem to be having a little bit of a bounce back. But one of the polls that I think is going to matter the most for this November is the one that shows that 80% of the country thinks that this country is moving in the wrong direction because of Biden.
Changed.
And that includes a majority of Democrats. So if you've lost a majority of your own party supporters, how could you possibly think that the outcomes will be that different for you?
Kaylee, I don't mean to throw you a curveball here, but we just got news that on Thursday, President Biden is going to give a primetime speech on what he calls the continued battle for the soul of the nation. He's going to give it from Independence National Historical Park in Philadelphia. That's where the Liberty Bell is. He's going to speak about core values of the nation, et cetera. So they're really putting him, they think that he is now working in terms of, you see those two lines, and they're getting more and more equalized now between Republicans and Democrats. So they're going to put him out here more often, aren't they?
It seems so, and you know, it depends on what he says tonight. There's a very good chance that
Thursday night. Forgive me, but it's Thursday night where he's going to be speaking.
Yes, so I guess it depends on what if he moves forward with this sort of semi-fascism line of thinking and says that Republicans are out to destroy your rights, they're out to, decline your right to vote, and all of that sort of stuff. That is not a selling message for the independent voters who are going to make this election count. We already know that they're on the fence because of a plethora of economic concerns that Biden is responsible for, and telling them simply that, all of these extreme rhetoric that's coming from Republicans right now is somehow representative of fascism just isn't going to buy them over.
Well, I think you're 100% right. It's the independent votes. Obviously, that's the biggest voting bloc in the nation, are the independents, by about 40%. So they're going to make the difference. Kaylee, great to see you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.